So I've been trying to understand what's happened over the last few days. Um, we all know that the House passed the Ukraine aid bill, the Senate passed the bill, President Biden signed it. Okay, so what's the fallout going to be? I think the Republican Party clearly has been tarnished. But I think the MAGA wing of the Republican Party has really just lost a pretty significant battle. At the same time, I don't think it'll affect Trump. I know that sounds weird to say, but let me make my case. So people follow Trump because they're following the individual, and then they go, well, what does he believe? Okay. Generally, with most politicians, you say, well, what do I believe? Okay, who has values that are like mine? Let me vote for that person. But there's something different. There's a personality effect, a charismatic something that draws people to him. Now, that's different than MAGA and the ideology of MAGA, which is part isolationist. And that isolationist part of the MAGA ideology really just got a good drubbing in the last few days. Once Michael Johnson allowed the bill to go onto the floor, yes, 112 voted voted against it. But they still lost very soundly. I mean, and so that's point one. It's weird that they will say the establishment has done this, or the Rhino is Republican in name only. The Rhinos, they were the ones that voted for it. That's not really true. By the way, when you hear Republicans talk about the establishment this or the deep state that or something like that, flags them as a MAGA Republican more likely than not, because Reagan conservative types don't talk like that. Okay, so McConnell is actually kind of the heir of Reagan's legacy in foreign policy, at least, where the MAGA types certainly are not. Okay, and that leads to Marjorie Taylor Green. So Marjorie Taylor Green, for days afterwards, was still going on spewing stuff about how Johnson did this and he let us down, and and she keeps going on, but she just lost the most. Now, it won't matter for Marjorie Taylor Green because she's in a very safe district where people are going to vote for the Republican by a huge majority, so she can be as extreme as she wants. It will matter for Trump in time, and I think you might be seeing the beginning of a pivot, but I don't know that for sure, because for the primary election, you have to run to the far end of your base. You have to be a little bit more extreme. For the general election, you have to run back to the middle to capture as many as you can, because like, you don't want to lose your base, but you got to capture those independent voters. And Ukraine aid is fairly popular with the majority of the country. Yes, it's very popular on the left, but even in the middle, not letting Ukraine down in the face of Russian aggression, it seems important to independent voters far more than to the Republicans, who are very split on that. And to Reagan Republicans like me, it's very important. Okay, so that's my analysis. I hope that helps you understand what happens. I think MAGA took a pretty good loss. I don't know that it's affected Trump, but it may be the beginning of Trump's pivot. Okay, that's all that I have. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.